The mechanic introduced in Set 4 of Star Wars Unlimited, Jump to Lightspeed, is the new pilot trait. Leaders and units will have two different deployment options. First, you can deploy the leaders or units as normal, meaning you pay the face value cost of the card and you deploy it to the appropriate arena. The second option, and similar to the smuggle mechanic in Set 2, Shadows of the Galaxy, is that you'll pay an alternate cost to play the unit as an upgrade and attach it to a vehicle. Usually, this will be cheaper than the face value cost, along with potentially a lower stat line to go with this reduced cost. But how is the pilot mechanic going to fare in the competitive scene when you move outside of the confines for Jump to Lightspeed draft and sealed events? Well, that is what we're going to get into today, so let's dive in. Out of the 18 leaders we got in Set 4, 11 of them will be pilot leaders. 10 of them upgrade the units they're attached to be leader units, that's helping with bounce or removal cards. And one of them actually can't be defeated by card abilities. So which are the ones that are a little different? Well, the first one is Poe Dameron, because he actually never upgrades the unit that he's attached to a leader unit. So he can actually also be deployed multiple times in theory. And the next up is Luke. On his card, it says this upgrade can't be defeated by enemy card abilities. So you can't use like confiscate or some of these things we're going to talk about to actually remove him, but save that thought. We'll have more on that in a moment. But going beyond pilot leaders, there are 40 pilot unit upgrades overall in Set 4, and they range from good to just bad. And again, this is looking at it from a competitive perspective. And the biggest problem facing pilots is going to be upgrade hate. And this includes some of these leader units we talked about. Losing a pilot upgrade or a leader unit to a low cost, upgrade hate card is not going to feel all that great. So you need to be paying attention to it. And there are a lot of possible hate cards to pick from, though again, not all of these can necessarily impact leader units. But for my search on SWODB, I found 24 of these cards by my count. And from that list, here are the ones that can target leader upgrades specifically and for a relatively inexpensive cost. First, and probably the one that everybody's most familiar with, is going to be the 1-cost confiscate card. You have 2 costs for bamboozle, and yes, bamboozle will bounce your leader unit as confirmed by FFG. So if that leader is on a vehicle, play bamboozle, you exhaust the vehicle, and you're going to be able to bounce your leader. For another 2 costs, you have power failure. On aggression, it's a 4 cost, though not very common because we don't see a lot of double red aggression decks, but this will bounce up to 2 upgrades. From Shadows of the Galaxy, there was the 5-cost Poe Dameron unit, where if you discard a card, you can defeat an upgrade. And then in Set 4, for 6 costs, we got Insurgent Saboteurs. Again, on attack, you can remove an upgrade. So these are ones that specifically can go after and attack leader units, minus Luke, because Luke can't be defeated by card abilities. But these are probably the more common ones we're going to see. And while 40 units might seem a lot for pilot options minus the leaders, there are really only 6 possible options to play with, at least in my opinion. And within those 6 options, it breaks down even further from, let's call it a tier perspective. For the S tier, or ones that will probably see actual play, first up we have Chewbacca. And Chewbacca is a 3-cost 3/3 pilot, that reads, attach unit gains, this unit can't be defeated or returned to hand by enemy card ability. So this will be really good for bounce effects or anything like that that's going to defeat the unit. Now that doesn't mean you can't remove Chewie with upgrade hate, because it says the attached unit gains, not Chewbacca himself, at least as a pilot. Next up is we have Luke Skywalker. He's a 3-cost 3/2 that reads, if this upgrade would be defeated, you may instead move him to the ground arena as a unit and exhaust him. So you're going to attach him to a vehicle, again, whether that be in space or in the ground. That when that unit gets defeated, he'll bounce out, and then it'll be a ground unit, with his lightsaber taking out AT-ATs. But you're at least going to maintain that 3-cost value that you spend on him once the unit he is attached to is defeated. Kind of working in the reverse of that is L3. She's a 3-cost 3/3. And it says, if this unit would be defeated, you may instead attach her as an upgrade to a friendly vehicle unit that doesn't have a pilot. So you drop her in the ground arena, she gets defeated. You will then add her to a vehicle to give them a +3/+3 bonus. So obviously, if you're using this card, you're going to want to make sure you're keeping a vehicle unit on the board to get the full value. And finally, and probably an auto include in anybody that's building a pilot focused deck, like on the hero side, I'm thinking Wedge or even Poe Dameron. It's R2D2. He's a 0 cost when deployed as a pilot 1/1. And the attached unit gains, you may play or deploy 1 additional pilot on this unit. Thus, you're going to be able to stack additional pilots on the vehicle R2 is attached to just to make them kind of, bigger, stronger. And then for the next tier, I kind of call this the O tier or the other tier because I think you might see them, but I think these are going to be very situational. And the first one up is, I hope I'm saying this right, Sidon Athano, which is basically a removal card. These are going to be a removal pilot. It says, when played as a unit, you may attach this unit as an upgrade to an enemy vehicle unit without a pilot and give it -2/-2. So for low cost, maybe you drop this on a lurking TIE fighter or advanced TIE fighter or any other vehicle where you're just trying to reduce them. But I really see this being used as a removal. And then finally, I wasn't really sure if I should include Anakin Skywalker or not, but he might be situational. He's a 2 cost 2/3, and it says when attached unit completes an attack and survives, that's pretty key, you may return this upgrade to its owner's hand. So you're going to maintain some of that value from the boost perspective. You get them on a ship. Let's say you put them on, like, I don't know, the Millennium Falcon starts to wear down. You can return them to your hand, thus deploying them again. This one might be more situational, so we'll see how Anakin plays out. But these are really my kind of 6 cards after looking through all the pilots, again, from a competitive perspective, that are probably going to see or may likely see play in the competitive scene. But what do you think? Are there any other pilots I might have missed that you think will be viable for competitive play? If so, post them in the comments below, as I'm always interested in learning what other folks might be thinking, because it's just going to help everybody probably get better at Star Wars Unlimited. But as always, thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all things Star Wars Unlimited. Until next time, have a great day.